Welcome to Therapy Sessions Cutting Toxic Family Ties. My name is Dr. Sherry Campbell, and I'm your host. I am a leading expert in the niche of toxic family abuse, and although my show cannot substitute for therapy, it is a survivor-based show. In me, you're not only going to get an expert, but you're also going to get a survivor, as I have also survived toxic family abuse. I know how hard it is. The goal I have is to give voice to the voiceless, to provide skills to help you to protect your peace, to stand your solid ground, and to navigate and heal the heartbreaks caused by toxic family. Please have a pen and paper available to give voice to your thoughts as you listen to each show. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your bravery. So let the healing begin. Welcome back, everyone, to Therapy Sessions, Cutting Toxic Family Ties. Okay, you guys, this guy, this is Nick Hames, not James. I learned as I listened to him. So this is the story. First of all, I went with my girlfriend to see her favorite blues guitar player. What was her name? Okay, Allie Venable. Please, for the love of God, check this woman out. So I really don't listen to a lot of blues, but I love live music, and music as a survivor has just saved my life over and over and over again, really starting with Annie. It's a hard knock life when I was really young. And just all the way through, there were things and songs that I felt in my body that I didn't have the words to put to. And then I see Nick like walking around, and he stands out to me because he looks just like Johnny Depp. His hair, right? Nick was like down to here. He had like the Johnny Depp hat, the stash, and I was elbowing my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, he looks like Johnny Depp. Then he got up and sang, and he introduces a song that he wrote about toxic parents and toxic family. And my girlfriend and I were like, what? And my boyfriend's like tapping me on the shoulder. And so I really tried to grab the words to the song, and I was just so taken. It got me sort of teary, and listening to his lyrics, which we're going to go over those lyrics today. Nick is also going to record an acoustic version of the song, and he's going to provide the link so that all of you can listen to it. And I just thought, at the complete risk of making a complete asshole of myself, I'm going to go up to this estranged, darling, young Johnny Depp as a 54-year-old woman and be like, hi, I'm like, yeah, so I'm a psychologist, doctor. Would you be on my show? He said yes. He's here. Nick, welcome to Therapy Sessions.
Thank you. I'm so happy you came up to me that day. I'm so excited.
Were you shocked? Were you like, whoa, did your brain kind of go, okay?
Well, so it's one of those things where, like, in the music industry, like, in terms of playing shows and like posting online, you just never know what one choice you make could do. You know, you never know what it could lead to. So, you know, we decided last minute, like, let's do Ghost. The song you talk about is called Ghost of You. And I was like, yeah, let's put it in the set. Had I not put it in the set, maybe we wouldn't be here. You know, we probably wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Like, you might have enjoyed the show, but, you know, that maybe you wouldn't have connected to any of the other songs. So it just goes to show, like, it's crazy how these one little moments or things in your life can turn into something like this. You know, it's crazy. I always find it interesting. One little thing can put you on a different trajectory.
100%.
So.
I mean, I can identify with you in the fact that we are both writers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the core,
yeah, because you write books.
Mm-hmm. At the core of music would be writing. I also write a lot of poetry. My first book actually was all poetry. I think that maybe the pain came out a little gentler on me if it was pretty, right? So my first book was all poetry. Then I've got a PhD and I've done the things, and I went a little more clinical. But my first book, But It's Your Family, made no contact an option for healing for survivors. That there really are a very rare, probably some of us, that there's really no other viable choice. It's never a choice we wanted to make. It took me 4.5 decades to make the choice. So that's not cancel culture.
Yeah, no.
I was left no other choice. And so I never knew that my little book would start a movement It's like
Yeah.
you never know.
That's how all great things happen. It's like, oh, I did this and I didn't mean, I didn't think it would end this way. It's crazy. You
It
know what I
is
mean?
crazy.
That's the beauty of life and opportunities and being able to do things. It's so cool.
And I think something that really drew me to you is that a lot of men are kind of shut down to what they feel. They're not as open or sharing about what they feel like women would be. And that's really brain development. I mean, we have very different brains and different purposes. And so whenever I love my men and all my following, they know that. And I love having men on the show. And because to hear you and to hear your hearts and your perspective, your pain in the same situation is so important for the whole. And this song, can I read your lyrics out loud?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Let's just go back to the title for a minute. It's called Ghost Ghost of You.
Yes, Ghost of You.
It says,
And by the way, the first line is my favorite line because when I co-wrote this with my writing partner, I had this line to start, the first line, and I thought like it seems too direct. And then the more we thought about it, we're like, no, no, this is like it's almost like a vulnerability thing in like being able to just directly say it. That's kind of what a lot of good music does. It just hits you like boom, like, oh, this is what we're talking about here. So that was just FYI, that is my favorite line is like the first line of the song because it just kind of hits you to the point. Like it's almost like a childish line in a way. You know what I mean? Like
but it's also, I'll give you something, but you just gave me goosies. Like the feelings really are direct. They're supposed to be because
yeah,
they're truth. I think it's not that all people can't hear the truth. It's that they can't handle it. They don't want to
yeah,
look at it, right? It's not that they can't hear it. It's that they don't want what the truth would demand. The other thing I like about the first line before we read it out loud is that's what was said to me as a kid, that I was
yeah,
bad for standing. So it can go either way. So, okay, we're diving in.
yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
I can't believe the way you're talking to me. You are the one who is supposed to be someone to love, someone to trust. I can't believe the way you treated me.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. That's very. It's crazy to hear it read back. I wrote it because of certain experiences, but not just me. Like there's so much of this in the world. You know what I mean? There's so much of this around me and people I know, whether it be family, even diving a little bit into relationships, you know what I mean? Like people who are in, verbally abusive relationships and stuff like that. And that first line is sort of setting the tone, or the first verse, all those that you just read kind of sets the tone for the song to just kind of realize like, oh, this is, yeah, like a vulnerable song. And right now, as this video is being filmed, it is probably my favorite song I have to date. So like I wanted to just set the tone and be like vulnerable and, sort of give it that
and it just gets better.
softness.
It just gets better and deeper. And one thing I'll say is that, yeah, this can be applied to friendships, love relationships, work relationships. I guess that
Yeah.
in my world, it's okay in all of those relationships to leave, to set boundaries, and to not speak to these people again. But once you slap the label of family, all the rules change. If
I know.
someone saw a boyfriend treating me the way my mother did, they would tell me, run. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But if I ran from my mom, people are like, how dare you? That is
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
mother. Life is short. Like, and it's like, but, but what? Wait, I don't get it. Right.
Yes.
So that's what I think about this song is so calling out the truth. The next verse is all your lying, all you do, my God, just to make me feel less than you. It's all a game to you. And I've learned every move with everything you do. There's nothing new.
I know. It's funny hearing someone else say it. It like It really like
You're like me
is.
now in your audience, Nick.
I know. I'm like now I'm hearing it directed to me. It's cool. And the other thing is like the song isn't one of those like metaphorical things where like it's like, ooh, what is he talking about? You get it. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty direct, and I'm super glad we're doing this because it's making me appreciate the lyrics even more.
Oh my God, Nick, it is bare ass naked in your face.
Yeah.
And I write about all of these very direct themes in my books. And one of the comments I get on my writing the most is there's no sugarcoating and it's practical and it's facts. We're not going to fight over facts, right? So the next verse is been waiting forever to be held in your arms, to hear that you love me. I would disarm all of my defenses, every wall, but I know that's just not who you are.
Yeah. I think that's the hook of the song. I know that at the end of the day, that's not who you are. That's, you know what I mean? That's you haven't come to the side that you said, the movement that you started, that side. Like, not everyone's there's gonna be so many people in life who completely disagree with you.
Oh, I have
But
so many haters. Yes.
yeah, oh yeah, tons of haters.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly, the haters.
Yes.
But this is a song for the other people that's kind of directing it towards like, but I know that's just not who you are. It's for the people who, the haters that will never accept that it's an option.
Well, and when you're saying that there's a level of surrender and there's like just this level of like, as far as forgiveness, it's not the right equation formula to use for my life. So acceptance became the proper formula to use.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Just
forgive.
kind of realizing that that's what's gonna yeah, it's not forgiveness, it's like just the acceptance of the lack of accountability or change for that person. I talk a lot about, if I think my friends or someone, like, this is a kind of an example similar to this, like if my friends are making a bad choice, I can give my opinion and I can try to talk them out of it, but at the end of the day, I can't control it. I gotta just be accepting of this is what's gonna happen. I did my best. You know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing where you can tell someone like, this is okay. The no contact thing, that's okay.
Mhm.
Um, to cut these people out of your life, that's okay. But like a lot of people are gonna be like, that's not okay. And you
Mhm.
say, I'm sorry, I don't. There's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And I try to help people find every way to not have to do it. I wouldn't wish no
yeah,
contact on anybody. If you have even a mustard seed of a topic, let's say that you have a toxic father, but you both like football. If that's all you've got and you can distance yourself emotionally from the rest, if that's possible, then please don't let go. Right. I was
yeah,
actually cut off and then I didn't fix it again. And it was cut me Sherry off for sport and then make her fix it. And what I love about that particular verse is as children, probably for me, I'm 54, but I was 45 when it was all complete. I had been waiting for 4.5 decades for them to see me or for them to hold me in their arms to hear that because it would just disarm me. I'd be like, yes, finally. And I
yeah.
think I lived in this place of like, well, if I achieve this or I do this, maybe, but I was auditioning constantly to be accepted. And then I had to come to the last line in that verse is, although if you gave me the love I wanted, it would completely disarm me. I know that's not just who you are. It's such a surrender.
Yeah.
The next verse is tracing the border around in my mind. How could I ever have been so blind? I think you wanted me. Oh, to think you wanted me, to think you cared. And now the ghost of you will haunt me everywhere. Nick. So let me just say that as a survivor, and I've been no contact for 10 years in June. June is my rebirth day. That's the day that I rebirthed into my individual life. I couldn't heal as long as I was connected to the poison.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think about my family in some sense every day because they're such a part of who I am. And I'm okay with it. I don't have any hatred for them. It's very indifferent at this point. I don't hate them. I'm all the way through that. I love them. I don't like or respect them. And I don't have people in my life I don't like or respect. But there's always memories. There's always little triggers now and again, dreams or whatever. And so that verse is just so incredible. Tracing the border around my mind, how could I ever have been so blind? Because we're babies and we're children
Yeah.
and we don't have any other refuting evidence. To think you wanted me, to think you cared, and now the ghost of you will haunt me everywhere.
It's kind of, yeah, going back to like being a child and stuff. It's like when you're a kid, you think like, oh, the adults know what they're doing. You know, they've all got it together, whether that be your family, your parents, everybody. And then when you become an adult, like, you know, I'm 28 now. I guess I'm an adult. Some of my friends would say otherwise, but you know, being able to be older and, you know, have responsibilities, and you kind of realize like, wow, like no one really knows what they're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no one knew all along what was going on, you know, because we're kids and we don't have to worry about anything. And then we realize all the faults
That's
that
right.
the people, you know, we might have looked up to, you know, have all these flaws, and it's like very eye opening.
It is. And I have so many questions for you, but I think it's eye opening in a way when you're a very attuned and sensitive person that you start to see truths in them. And what I did is I spent years like, well, maybe if I use this PowerPoint at this time of day with these facts and I show these feelings and I use this tone of voice, maybe then it will work. And I would go in and I would try and I'd get chewed up and I would be like, oh I guess
Yeah.
I'm just wrong.
Yeah.
So then I would get myself back together. I'd have my points and I tried a different PowerPoint with different facts at a different time of day with it. And it just doesn't work. And I think what you're saying is like, at some point you're like, you know what? This isn't a me thing.
Yeah.
There's something going on in this person that is so dysfunctional that they would rather lose a relationship with me than take accountability. And I'm their
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accountability is a huge thing that a lot of people might even, you know, deep down know that it's them, but they like are in denial or they push it back really far. And the other thing I always say is I try to keep myself in check. If I'm going to do something or I say something, an opinion, something along those lines, and everybody around me is like, I don't know about that, you know, oh, that's not a good idea, or I don't know about that. If everyone around me makes me rethink it and be like, okay, well, maybe not. Like if everyone has a problem with me, if everyone I knew had a problem with me, at what point is it me or is it everybody else? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Look, when you're the common denominator
yes,
of all this chaos, and what's so wild, like for my mother, for example, my father, even my sibling, um, you can have everyone see it, but the denial in this type of personality is so dialed in
yeah,
that they will still deflect blame somewhere else, even when all the evidence is there. So it doesn't make sense to us. And what I've figured is I'm not sick enough, thank God,
yeah,
to understand that brain, because to understand that brain, I guess I would have to have it. And
exactly.
I'm just so grateful that I don't. So I feel like you're an artist, obviously, like just, and I'm a different kind of artist, but we're both writers. I've healed through my hands. I use my voice to speak. When I sing, I don't know, dogs might howl a little bit. I don't know. I think it could be, but in my car, I'm certainly a rock star, as we all know. But there are so many lyrics that really touch me. And I was so caught off guard when I was sitting in, it we used to be called Mozambique. They've changed the name and remodeled this. I don't remember, but sitting in there listening to you. And it really, I was already drawn to you because you look like Johnny Depp. And he was like my little middle school crush. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Benny and June. And I still find Johnny to be a pretty sweet, wonderful guy.
yeah,
And I was just drawn to you immediately. And when you got up and sang that song, I was like, oh my God, I am meant to be here. I have got to talk to this guy. The lyrics that you share, I mean, there's so much loss and there's so much betrayal, right? And disappointment. But there's such this incredible quality of like, it is what it is. Um, what inspired you to write this song? Like you just one day, like what inspired me to write my book is I had reached this feeling inside, like enough is enough. Enough is enough. I have to find my voice. I've been an avid journaler since I was 12. I've written over 500 journals and I've saved every single one. Um, and I write weekly. I don't write nightly right now because I'm so busy doing other things, but I do write weekly.
Yep.
And finding my voice helped me do this. Were you inspired by things you've witnessed in your personal life, in your friends, in your girlfriend, or what? Because this is obviously, so common. And a part of me kind of started giving voice to this. So to see it like land down in a young artist and permissions given, and you write this freaking song, like what inspired this? Obviously, trauma, right? On some level, but
So it's funny. The song was the last song for an EP I had released last year. The EP kind of took me from, there were 6 songs, and there were originally 5 songs, and then I had written this as the 6th song. If you listen to the EP chronologically, like in order, it takes me from when I was a kid, sort of, to now. Um, Ghost of You, the song we're talking about, lays somewhere a little bit in the middle. I think it's either the 3rd or the 4th song in the EP, and it sort of
I have your EP.
you do, yeah,
I got it that night. I was like, doing.
yeah. Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
I have to go back and re-listen now
Yeah.
because
Well,
yeah.
if especially to the first song, I can explain that, briefly in a minute. But the first, yeah, it was a chronological thing about kind of growing up and stuff. When I wrote Ghost to You, I had that first line, I can't believe the way you're talking to me. You were the one that was supposed to be someone to love. So what inspired it? A little bit of everything you said, whether it be personal experience, friends, family going through things like that. I have to credit a lot of the finding of the feeling, I guess, in that inspiration. Credit a lot of it to my girlfriend. She's deep into therapy for a few years now, and it's done wonders for her. And then
Wow.
I started taking therapy, and being able to, like, she helps a lot. We joke sometimes she is my therapist, and we got to try to change that. But being able to sort of take the realization, I guess, of this is what's happening, and coming to, you know, the conclusion and admitting to yourself that this is what is happening, rather than like putting it on
Ma-
denial or like, no, that's not me. Like coming to realize it made me, want to write the song. And then also just being able to take the vulnerability and put it on a plate and just serve it. That's not something I like to do. I actually write a lot of songs about other people. So if like my friend is
Really?
going through a really bad breakup, I will write a song. You'll think I am, but I'm not. I'm in a happy relationship, but it sounds like I am. But this song actually kind of is a bit of everything, including me, my
Mhm.
family, my friends, my girlfriend. It has a little piece of everything, but I can definitely connect with it for sure.
Yeah, I think you're just drawing on humanity.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was going to bring voice in the way that I did to this. I introduced it accidentally to the world in But It's Your Family. And my books have been like your EP.
Yeah,
I kind of
exactly.
like I wrote But It's Your Family in 12 weeks. It was just like
Yeah.
it just had to come out. And then I landed a publishing deal, which shocked me. And then I moved publishers. You kind of outgrow publishers now and again.
Yep.
And I wrote. I now have 3 books with another one. The book that I'm just now releasing, You Are Home. I've never been more madly in love with a book I've ever written in my life than this book, and it drops in April. And it's all metaphorical. I built a house with a basement with crime scene boxes, unpacking those. There's basement monsters. There's the outside of boundaries. I mean, it's just a really, really special book, and it's all about healing now. It's like I've defined the problem. Now it's all about healing. And I think that, the line that you write that says that's just not who you are, it's obviously so important in this song because throughout the song, you guys, when you hear it, it's like a circle and it's like, this is the reality. It hurts. I don't like it, but this is who they are. This is the reality. It hurts and I don't like it. I feel abandoned, but this is who they are.
Yeah.
And it's like all the way through. And then when you say tracing, let me quote you, tracing the border around my mind, like it's so poetic and profound to me because in my world, it's called ruminating.
Ruminating.
We're ruminating on thoughts and they're cycling through and we get stuck on one and we spiral and we're just ruminating. And so I would love for my people that fall into that, because we all do as survivors, we get triggered, or then there's all these flying monkeys, like the outsiders who don't really get it and they think they're helping, but they're being hurtful, all things. So you end up kind of circling around the border of your mind. And I think so many of my listeners are going to relate to that, the ruminating of that. And they're going to relate that when you give trust to someone who doesn't deserve it, it ricochets back into such a painful place in you. Like, what do you want? Did you have an intention? Like, I really want people to take blank away from this song, or what was your intention?
I'm a musician for a living, but I write music because I always tell people my goal as a musician is to making it's not $1 million check. It's not things like that. It's basically, I want to give the feeling to people that I had growing up listening to or still listening to the music I love. It's almost like also like people who if I watch a movie, I'm not a director. I don't act. I don't know anything about movies. I just enjoy it. You know what I mean? I grew up as a musician, so listening to the music, I had a different experience. I would listen a lot to the music, but also the lyrics. But if I can give that feeling of just inspiration through any one of my songs, in particular this song, if anyone can relate to it, that's like mission accomplished. I want to give the feeling to someone that I had when I hear a song that I love and I really connect with that song and I just can't stop listening to it. That's the goal, is that feeling is so awesome. I want to gift that to someone else.
Yeah, I would say in my language that you make people feel seen.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
right.
That's a perfect way.
Seen and unseen is a big part of my job. And I get that a lot. Like, I feel so seen through your videos. I've never felt so seen or so heard.
Exactly.
And that's why I was so compelled to just have the fuckets and just approach you and be like, listen, I'm like not hitting on you. You are really cute, but you're really young. And I'm with my boyfriend and I'm so in love. But this song, I just wanted to share you with people, because very few songs, I could probably name 5 songs that really bring me to tears. One of those is Prophecy by Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I cannot sing it and not cry.
Yeah.
Because I have been that person, not only looking for a soulmate, but trying so hard, spending every last coin on my family to love me. That song's, it's very powerful in terms of it's direct. Your songs are very direct. And I do think it makes people feel seen and heard and not alone.
Yeah.
Music spreads like contagion, like once it's out. And there are so many me's out there that need this song. They need it on their playlist. Sia wrote a song, and I can't remember the name, but it's like she's basically screaming, I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
You tried to kill me and I am still breathing. I have a whole playlist of toxic family songs, believe it or not, that I take in as toxic family. That might not be the topic, right? But that's what I take it in on.
The amazing thing about music is that regardless of what a song is about, it's an art form. You know what I mean? Like, You can see an abstract art painting and you can say it looks like clouds, it looks like a tree. There's no right answer. I mean, obviously the artist maybe had an intention to do one thing or another, like, this song is about X, Y, and Z. But if you take it and interpret it in a different way, that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah, the
free
song
form.
just grows.
Yeah. Like what is Stairway to Heaven about? We don't know. What do I think it's about? You probably think it's about something completely different. And you can sort of connect with that in your own way. And then it sort of in a way becomes yours. That's my song. You know what I mean?
Yes, I wish I could remember that. I'm going to text you the song. I think it was on Vampire Diaries, to be honest, but it's all about you're catching on to the game. Like, I know what you're doing. And your song has elements of that, like all the lying, all the betrayal, whatever. Like, oh, I know what you're doing now. And I know it's just who you are. So now you can't really beat me at your own game. Right. And I love that there's some redemption in your song too. Like, acceptance to me is redemption. I had a follower of mine to say the most brilliant thing the other day, because forgiveness can become a very awful topic to discuss, because there are people that are very, if you don't forgive, you're going to hell, or, they're very in that space. And there's not a different psychological definition of forgiveness than religious. And so I think it really gets mixed in. And then it becomes judging. And I have been not forgiven for not forgiving, ironically. So
Yeah.
you're not going to forgive me. You're going to show me unforgiveness because I won't forgive. Like, isn't there kind of an irony there?
Yeah.
So one of my followers recently said, forgiveness doesn't fit for me, but relinquishment does. And I was like, oh, like, you just relinquish it. Like, I'm done. I get it. I've rode the pony. I'm going to relinquish. I love words. And so I thought that was a really
Yeah.
powerful word, right? I think trust too is at the core of your song, because we are born inherently trusting our family members, especially our parents. Because if we didn't, I don't know that we would survive, because we are.
Natural instinct. We're animals at the end of the day. It's crazy. Yeah. We wouldn't survive. How would we, if we wander off and, I know we're in a civilized, we're in a society and you can't just wander off like into the woods, but you know what I mean?
I totally know. Like, if in more primitive days, like if you didn't get disciplined to stay away from the cliff, you'd be like, woohoo,
Yeah.
like you wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So we really do need to survive. And then, attachment disorders are really all related to trust.
Mhm.
Trust is developed in the first 18 months of life. That stage is trust versus mistrust. And I certainly came out without trust at that time, because I know what was going on in my parents' lives at the time. And now I'm very aware of who they are in general, So trust is tough, right? It affects, if we don't have trust in family, then it's very difficult to trust other people. Have you struggled with trust?
Oh, yeah, for sure. In every sense, every relationship in my life definitely have had trust issues. I think the older I've gotten, the more it's not necessarily singling out who I trust. I know who I trust, but there's a certain level of confidence I've gotten knowing who I can let in one way, or who can be in this end, or know what's going on with this, or know this part of me. There are different parts of every person, and not every part is meant to be with everyone. There's friends that I have that we go deep. There are friends that I have that we just go out and have fun. Like, you know what I mean? There's different parts of each person. I'm not super careful about, who gets to see those parts. If it feels right to me nowadays, it's pretty easy. I was very careful, when I was younger, and very like, ooh, I don't know who I trust. Getting betrayed is hard to come back from, something like being cheated on also.
Oh, yeah. Awful.
It's hard, but you gotta go over that hump, because or else you'll spend the rest of your life not trusting anyone, and then you're by yourself.
And there's a lot of people, Nick, that in my 30-year career as a psychologist, have seen genuinely stay there, stuck
Yeah.
in the pain.
Oh, for sure.
And there's no life there. I don't never been interested in revenge at all, because that's really about someone else. And can you really get revenge on someone? I don't think so. But what I have cared about in my life is I'm a lover of underdog movies. I very much want redemption. And that is for me. I have succeeded in spite of them, not because of them.
Yes.
And I think it's just ironic that they scapegoated me for all these years, dumbed me down, made me feel like I was dumb and stupid and all the things. And now I imagine on some level they see my face wherever they go. And I don't want that for them in a hurtful way, but in a way of truth, is like you should never try to harm another human being to keep them down, especially when you brought this child into the world, right? And I love what you said about, I say we all have, every friend fits in a different box.
Yeah.
Right. And that you're going to apply levels of your trust to that level of that friendship.
Yeah.
If it's more superficial friendship, they're not going to know you like your homie, your bestie,
Exactly.
right? They're not going to know you like that. So I think that that's a really great way to look at things. And I think it's so mature, and it helps to even out expectation, right? Because jealousy, neediness, and expectation destroy relationships.
Yep.
Those are the big three. And if you're going in without any trust, you're going to be all three of those.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And I was, at a point, I was in a relationship that was, a romantic relationship that was exactly that. And guess what? Didn't end well. So,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question about something?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so when you said you've made this career like in spite of them, not because of them, do you think that, and you probably don't have a definitive answer, maybe you do, but do you think that they're looking at that and thinking they did it like in a way like, oh, like we made, not like we did this like in a sad way, like, oh, we did this to her, but more like, oh, she's successful because of us, like we take the credit for it.
Mhm.
Do you think that that
Yeah.
is how they might see it or feel?
I think there's a couple of things. I think that I don't think they've read my work.
Yeah.
I think they've read pieces of it. I believe that they tell everyone I'm a liar.
Of course, yeah, I'm sure.
But then the next rhetoric would be, well, we're the ones who put her through school, or she's not giving us credit for this or that, or we paid. It was a big money thing. We paid for this. We paid for that. Certainly they did. They certainly did. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. But you should, as a parent, I have a 20-year-old, you should think this person that you've brought into the world could be anything, right? I don't know that they expected me to be an author. I am wondering today if they wish they would have treated me better, knowing that this is what I was going to become. But they didn't, and they still don't. They've really dug their heels into, I'm a liar. Sherry, she's always been out of control.
Yeah.
And I was scapegoated. I was angry. I was trying to fight for myself. My dad married 5 times, my mom 4 times. And I have a golden child sibling. So he kind of carries the image, and he was sparkly. He was a sparkly dude. I know who he is today. I know who he is behind closed doors, and he's not very sparkly. And I think he's abused in his own right. And I think he's trapped in a world that he can't get out of, because there's so much deceit and lying and dishonesty and very abusive behavior all locked in behind those closed doors. But
Is that another no contact sibling? Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm no contact from everyone. I don't even have a cousin. So I have like an aunt, mom, my dad passed away. His death was used against me, and a sibling. And he has 2 kids that I don't know. But when I didn't mend the fence after they cut me off, everyone cut me off.
Yeah.
It's like a cult, right? I feel like they just like to tell everyone that I'm just a big liar, but they're also like, I think they feel resentful that they contributed to my education, but I definitely think that they take credit for it. When we were all intact, and my brother and I I was succeeding educationally, and he was a pro athlete for a quick stint.
Mhm.
And both my parents at one time or another were like, we must have done something right.
Yeah.
Well, athletic ability is kind of genetic,
Yeah.
and I don't think you can really take credit for him. Um, and I think that might be the only reason he felt he was loved at some point too. So that's kind of tragic, right? Because careers like that tend to be, if you're not a marquee player, they tend to not be more than 3 to 5 years, and his wasn't. So I just think that we all have our own issues, but I definitely feel that they've come together even more in a way to try and discredit me, because I've told my story out loud. I was forced to suffer in silence, so I feel like it's my right to heal out loud, right?
Of course.
So,
And help
do your
others who are scared to, or think it's, not okay to talk about it and to
Mhm.
publicly heal. You know what I mean?
Well, and yet when we publicly heal, it's amazing how many others heal, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the beauty of writing or speaking or singing or whatever, what does your family think, your personal family think of like your music career and you being an artist and a musician? I've had a lot of musicians in my office that their parents were like, you're a starving artist. Do you get any of that, or are they supportive?
I get it. I get both. I get the concerns of, you gonna pay rent, but I also, get the oh, you gotta do this, you gotta take any opportunity you can. Took a while to get to that point. I definitely think having more support when I was young, not young as a kid, but even like maybe when my early 20s or like teen years, having more of
Mhm.
the, you know, go for it, do it, and having someone push it for me because I didn't think I could do it at that time. My mindset changed, but, could have helped, get an earlier start. But Um, I don't know what it's like to be in that position because it is hard and it is
Yeah.
scary. You know, pretty much everyone, well, not everyone, most people in my family um went to college, got a degree, went to good colleges, MIT, BU,
Wow.
like you know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
when I'm like, I just want to play guitar and write music, I get it's, even John Mayer said that like his parents were educators and he was
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
trying to convince
Yeah.
them like I want to be a musician. I don't know what it feels like and I'll never know because if I had a kid and he wanted to do that, I would instantly be like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Go.
Let's work. But maybe if he was like, I want to be a baseball player or something, maybe I would have that same thing like, ooh, I don't know if we should, maybe. But I I I I want to
I
be
don't
able
think
to
so.
I just want to be
I
able
don't
to
feel that
support as
from
much as
you.
I can, like, what
Yeah.
because I know that, like, you can do whatever you put your mind to, like, if you really want to do this and you put in the work, that's the thing, is you gotta put in the work, but, um, let's do it, like, yeah, like, you need supportive people around you to help you, you
Mhm.
can't do anything alone, you can't do it alone.
I believe we all have a destiny that maybe we even chose before we came into this incarnation. And I think that my daughter is not mine, but I'm here to create space for her to be her. And she is dead opposite of me. I'm an athlete. I have always been an athlete. I'm always on time, all the things. And she's very artistic. She's left handed. She's far more passive. And we're still like peas and carrots just because I just really love her differences. And I think
Yeah.
that old school parenting was like everybody has to be the same and you have to follow this track. And what I just want you to hear from someone that could be your mom is that, you're right on time. You are right where you need to be. You are right on time. You touched my spirit. Your lyrics, but your vibe, just your person. You're just such a genuine guy. You were so,
Thanks.
so easy to approach. I'm just so grateful you're here. If something inspires me, I want to share it. And I just wanted to share you, Nick, with my following. And so we're going to shut down here. But what would you leave people with? I love your whole thing about work hard, find yourself, but you're talking to a whole group of people listening. They're going to just fall in love with this song. What would you leave them with?
I would leave them with, if it doesn't hurt and it's not hard, maybe you're not healing in the way you could be, or, you got to work hard. If it hurts and it's hard, that means you're doing something right. Honestly, that's my opinion of it. Things aren't easy in life. Getting to heal in that way, or just getting anywhere in life, is always darkest before the dawn, typical. So make sure that you find the people that, you can trust and that, you feel comfortable with. Cling on to those people. You
Yeah.
do everything you can. Don't hide your emotions. Tell people how you feel. Talk about it. You bottle things up, it just makes things worse. And one quick conversation that could be resolved in, an hour-long conversation in emotions being held could end up being a problem that could ruin everything. I'm kind of going on a tangent now, but that's
No, I appreciate it. I know what you're saying. The journey to healing has some really dark corners. And I've always say on here, I've never done the brave thing bravely, ever.
Yeah.
And I never will,
Mm-hmm.
but I've always done it. I get brave after. I'm all, oh, look what I did.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm
then
not
the
brave
feeling,
during.
it's like a high. The feeling of the fact that
It's a
you were able
high.
to do it, it makes you want to do more for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a good
Yes.
feeling.
100%. It gains that self-love. So Nick, I'm so proud of you. I think you're doing exactly what you've been called to do on this planet. You're going to touch a whole bunch of people today. And we're going to have everything of Nick's Spotify, all the links. He's going to send those to me and we're going to get his song. He's going to do it acoustic. He's going to record it for us. And then I will have the link to see that. So Nick, thank you so much for coming on.
I can't wait to see you again.
Sessions. Yes, me too. I need to get your little travel schedule.
Yes.
All right, my little Sherapy followers. I know you enjoyed this. I certainly did. What a lovely guy. Get his music, support him. He's using his voice to speak our truths as well. You are seen, you are loved, you are heard. Until next time, be well and take care of you. Well, Bravehearts, that concludes our amazing Sherapy session for the day. Please sign up on my email list at drsherrycampbell.com so that you can be in touch with me and see what's going on in terms of what I'm offering soon, what books are coming out, etc. Talk to you in a couple of weeks.